Hi, this is just a very short, impromptu edition of Ace Fairy Tales from my garden for National Storytelling Week, and I'd just like to briefly tell you about a tale that I was teaching a workshop about over the weekend, and we got some great stuff out of it. I've run this workshop a couple of times before, and it's based on a story told by a medieval poet called Marie de France, who lived in the late 12th century, and she retold a lot of traditional Breton stories. They're called Breton lays, which means they were kind of songs or poetry, but in the book I've got, they're retold in prose, and we were looking at a story that I retold in Ace Myths Tales called Bisclavret, and I really like this story. It's about a knight whose wife is suspicious of his absences during the week, and her absences, particularly the way I tell it, from her bed, and she's worried that he's having an affair, but then he tells her, and I love how Marie puts this, "Lady, I become a werewolf." And she asks him whether he goes about clothed or naked when he's a werewolf, and he says, "Lady, I go about completely naked." And she's absolutely scandalised, and so she wheedles out of him the secret of where he leaves his clothes, because if his clothes go, he can't turn back to a human. And then she tells another knight who fancies her where the clothes are, and they take the clothes, and poor Bisclavret is stuck as a wolf in the forest for a year until the king goes hunting, and then the king finds him and keeps him as a pet, and he sleeps at the king's feet, and you can sort of see there might be a kind of romantic, almost hint at a romantic relationship with the king, the sort of love that comes between the two of them when he's still a wolf. And he's very safe there, and we talked about this in the workshop, because we were talking about guilty secrets that people have, or double lives that you might be leading that's hard to keep up at home. Obviously you can see where this is going in terms of coming out stories, and then sort of leaving the original home but not having a safe place to go, and then having this safe place and this relationship with the king, but he needs to be restored really to society and to his full humanity, to his full self. And this happens when his past catches up with him in the form of the ex-wife and her lover, who he bites when he's a wolf, and they're very surprised because he doesn't normally bite people. And then a wise man says, there must be something going on with this couple, we'll find out what it is. And the wife eventually confesses what happened, and there's a lovely touching scene where they bring back his clothes and they just put them in front of him, and he won't get into the clothes. And then this wise man says, look, it's embarrassing him, just take him to your room, shut the door, leave the clothes, and give him the privacy to transform back. I think that says a lot about giving people the privacy to come to themselves, and giving people space. Can you see my cat in the background? She's always stealing the show, isn't she? Yeah, and then they go in, and he's on the king's bed, and he's dressed, and it all gets restored, apart from the wife, who doesn't have a nose anymore. Very bitter. And it says that all her children are born without noses, and then it says, and this story is true, do not doubt it. Which it might not be literally true, but and I very much retold it when I told it in terms of a coming out story, but we were looking at all sorts of different issues. I might be able to link some of them into this film if I'm lucky. All sorts of different issues that the story can help us to cope with, and there's some wonderful ideas and some wonderful bits of writing over the weekend. So that's just a very brief story of Bisclavret. See you later next time.